My name is Edo Udoma, and in this video I will be introducing Photoshop to you. A lot of people out there really on my neck. They want to learn Photoshop, they want to learn graphics. So I decided to take this course in order to teach those upcoming graphic artists how to use Photoshop for free. For this lesson, I will show you how to navigate around Photoshop and make very wonderful use of Photoshop tools. So let's dive in and get started. Hi, this is an introduction to Photoshop. It's an absolute beginner course on how to use Photoshop. So if you are new to Photoshop, then you are watching the right tutorial. But if you are not new to Photoshop, well, of course, you could have one or two things you could still add up to what you know about Photoshop from this lesson. But the lesson is prepared for absolute beginners. So let's go ahead and launch Photoshop. In this tutorial, I'm working with Adobe Photoshop CC, specifically 2018 version. But you are free to use any Adobe Photoshop CC version of your choice. That is left for you to choose. If you don't have Photoshop already installed, feel free to sign up with Creative Cloud and get a copy of your Photoshop. Okay, so to get started, first of all, I'm going to show you how to create a new file or how to create a new project. So let's get started from here. Move to Files, New. Your new document opens. You have recent saved options for photos. So if you click on photos, you can find different dimensions, photo dimensions. You could select one or any one of your choice. And we have print. Here we have different print dimensions. We have letter, legal, A5, A3, and so on. Same option for art and illustration, web, mobile, and films and videos. So feel free to choose any dimension of your choice. But if you do not have any dimension from here, maybe you want to use a custom dimension, then feel free to navigate to width. Set the width to whatever dimension you want, and then select from the drop down the measurement you want to use. Do you want to use inches, pixels, centimeters, etc. So go ahead and select pixels, and then feel free to give the height whatever height you want, and then select the orientation. Do you want it portrait? Do you want it landscape? Do you even need an artboard? Keep the resolution at 300, but if you want to drop the resolution, maybe you are working for the web and you don't really need the high resolution thing, probably you're not printing, then you can feel free to reduce it to maybe say 72 or even 100 or whatever, 100 or whatever figure you would want it to be. But for this lesson and for maintaining high resolution pictures, let's leave it at 300. Okay, so the color mode is RGB colors and not CMYK and not grayscale. 8-bit, and then your background content is white. You can change it to black. You can make it background color. The choice is up to you. But for this lesson, I'll go ahead and select white background. Click the drop down for advanced option and then see what you have there. We have a color profile. Everything is right on point at this time, so you can go ahead and select create. We have our new canvas. We are ready for work. But before we get started, which of course this is an introductory class, this is solely introductory lesson to Photoshop. The first tool I'll show you here, now you know how to create a new project, is the move tool. This is the move tool. Click and leave your mouse over the tool in order to see and read about this tool. This is one pretty good thing about Photoshop CC. It will tell you the name of the tool on mouse over. This is move tool, and it explains what move tool is actually used for. It says moves a selection or a layer. So by default, you might not be able to make selections if you do not have the auto select checkbox on. This is very important. By default, you might have this option unchecked. So do well to move over to auto select and turn it on. Click the drop down and ask Photoshop to select layer. What this means is, let me dive in and show you a quick example. Click on shape, draw the shape over your board, and then draw another shape over the board. Double click on the mask and let's change the color to something else. So we have some other color right here. Click on OK, and let's go back to move tool. So with move tool, you can click on this object and move it around your screen. And with auto select turned on, you can click on anything, any object you have on your screen, and you move them around. But let's say uncheck it and then click on one tool. You see, at this instance, your mouse is over the blue square. But if you click on the blue, it rather selects the red. Why? Because what is selected on the layer is the red color. So that is how auto select works. So let's go back and turn it on. Click on blue and we can now select our blue again. Click on red and we can select the red again. I know you might be wondering, what is layers? How does this work? Don't worry about that. I have a lesson on layers already prepared for you. So for the meanwhile, let's go back to Adobe Photoshop tools. The next tool is the Marquee Tool, rectangular Marquee Tool. It makes a selection in the shape of a rectangle. So let's draw that over, click on it and select, draw over the canvas, and you see what it actually means. So you can use the Marquee tool to select a portion, like I've selected a portion of this square. Click on the drop down. We have other shapes for Marquee tool over here. So the next tool is polygonal lasso tool. Before I explain this, I need to deselect the Marquee tool that is on the screen. To do that, click on Marquee tool again, clicking, and it deselects. Or you click, or you press down Command D. D, remember, D for deselect. D for deselect. Okay, so Command D or Control D on your keyboard, and then you have that deselected. Or you just click on the Marquee tool once and click in, you still have it deselect. The next tool after Marquee tool is polygonal lasso tool. So on mouse over that, and we find polygonal lasso tool. Shortcut for polygonal lasso tool is L. You will always find the shortcut for each tool in bracket, and or for the subtext you will you have this explanation about how the tool works. Like we have here, we have it creates straight edge selections. How does it do this? Let's go ahead and experiment that out. Click on the canvas, click, come back to where you started from and click the edge. You have it selected. Now you see how it works. So you can use this selection, to either delete a portion, draw a shape, do any of those. Okay, for example, let's go ahead and create a new layer, and let's snap into brush tool, and then let's draw over it. Go back to polygonal lasso tool and click out. You see it creates another tool. So how do we get rid of this? That is very simple. Press Command D or Control D if you are a Windows user on your keyboard and you have that D selected. Same way to deselect a Marquee tool. So the next tool is the magic wand. On mouse over, magic wand tool. How does the magic wand tool work? The magic wand tool selects similar colors of an image or an area. So if you click and slide down, you would have other options for the magic wand. Okay, so let's click on magic wand and click on any shape. You can see it auto selects that shape. Click on the red, click on the canvas, it auto selects the canvas. Click on select rectangle tool, which is the red color, click out, and then let's see, you see it really can't select a shape. Why? Because a shape has a mask. It has a mask surrounding it. So magic tool works with layers without a mask. The next one is the crop tool. Crop tool shortcut for crop tool is C. It trims or expands the edge of an image. How do we use this? Okay, you can see from the example, but let's go ahead and experiment that out here. So click on crop tool, draw over your canvas, and we have succeeded in reducing the size of this canvas if I press enter on the keyboard or I select commit. So let me go ahead and commit. Woo! And this is what it does. I have trimmed my canvas completely to a different dimension. So let's go back to edit and undo this level. So you see, you can undo crop, which is Command Z, or step backwards, which is Shift Command Z. Sorry, Alt Command Z. So let's click that and we get back to the previous dimension we had on our canvas. The next tool is the eyedropper tool. Eyedropper tool is used to sample colors from an image. So if we really do not have any image here, but let's click on eyedropper tool and select, go back to move tool, which is you can use it to select and move an object. So click on the shape blue and then go back to eyedropper tool and select the red. It really will not work here because this is not an image, it's a shape. It's a shape. So in order to get this working, we need to bring in an image, or we go back to a layer without a mask. Remember, I created this layer without a mask using the lasso tool. So okay, now this layer is selected, and we select the red, click on move tool, click on the layer, come down, and then go back to eyedropper tool and select blue. Woo, it's still not working. It's still not working. Why? Because just like it explains here, it samples color from an image and not a shape. So okay, so let's click out, and let's just jump back to text. You know, I'm still coming down there, but for the purpose of this explanation, let me just do a quick snap at text too. So let's go back to, let's commit the text, and then take on pick tool, select the text, and then go back to eyedropper and click on a color, click on the text color and select the color. You see, it's taking effect right now. So this is how to use eyedropper tool. And let's pick some other color, and it's taking effect. Click on OK to commit that. You can do the same thing with the shape tool. So double click on the mask on the rectangle one shape tool, and then use the eyedropper tool to pick your colors, pick your colors, pick your colors, pick your colors, pick your colors from anywhere, pick your colors, and then pick your colors. Pretty cool. That is how eyedropper tool works. So let's continue our lesson to the next tool, which is spot healing tool. Spot healing tool. Okay, you can see from the short video provided by Adobe CC to explain how this tool works. Click on spot healing tool, and it can be used. You have the orange date on the gene material, scrub around it, and that date disappears just like that. The next one is the brush tool. Brush tool is used in just like the name implies, brush, pick your color and paint over your canvas. That is what the brush tool is used for. So let me create a, okay, select a layer without a mask, and then okay, you can see what happens there. So let's do edit and undo that. You can adjust your brush by coming to options on top, and then select the size, scrub it down. You know, we have the brush is now small, so we have a small brush right here. Undo, Command Z. You can also change the feather, take it up to hardness to 100%, and right now we have this hard edge. Okay, so let's go back to brush. You can select any brush. There are other options to explore from. So click out or press escape from your keyboard. Now there's something I need you to know about Photoshop, because any tool you select on the tools layer, watch what happens at the top bar right here. Just take a look. Click, it changes. Click, it changes. Click, it changes. Now when you select any tool, it changes to give you options about that tool. So right now we are in brush tool. We have different options displayed for brush tool. You can reduce the opacity, you can adjust the flow, you can adjust smoothness of the brush, you can change the size of the brush, you can increase or reduce the hardness of the brush. Okay, click in, and you can even use your keyboard using the bracket to increase the size of the brush and reduce the size of the brush. Bracket is right after alphabet P on your keyboard. So bracket open, reduces it, brackets close, increases it. Okay, so let's move to stamp tool, which is the next one. Stamp tool is used in picking up a spot and then applying it to some other area, just like you have stamp. Remember stamp in those days where you pick up one office stamp and then dip it inside an ink and boom on a surface, and you have a print. That is how it works here in Photoshop too. The next tool is history brush tool. History brush tool is used to restore parts of an image to an earlier state. If you had dates on an image and you used the healing tool to erase it out, and maybe along the line you want to bring that date back, and you're like, oh God, I would have allowed this image to maintain its date. I need to create something from this date, and you're like, oh my God, how do I go back to that? I've gone a long way in this design. No, it's very simple. Go down to history tool, click on it, and then rub over the area you had those dates before. Clean up on those areas and you will have the dates come back. You can restore the dates using the history brush tool. So the next one is eraser tool. Just like the name implies, changes pixels to the background color or makes them transparent. You can use it to clean off a non-mask object. Like we have this we have the brush we just drew over here. You can use it to clean it. You can even use it to clean this guy out as well, but you can't clean a mask on it. So you can adjust the hardness just like you have in brush tool. Same thing is applicable for the eraser tool. Take the hardness back to 0%. The next tool is the shape tool. The gradient tool is used in drawing shapes that will have this sort of tonal gradation, moving from one color to another color on your canvas. So this is how the gradient tool works. Draw over your canvas. So it picks the blue from forecolor and picks the off-white from the background color, and that is exactly what you have on your canvas when you draw over. So let's undo that with Command Z. Or you can mask an object. This is mask, and draw over it. You have the same effect. So undo, Control Z, and Control or Command Alt for Mac, Command Option for Mac users, Command Option Z to remove the mask, as well as go into Edit, then take up your actions from the list. Let's go to the next tool, which is the smudge tool. It softens or smudges color in an image. How does this happen? Select a non-mask object and woof. And this is fun to play with. Okay, so that's how it works. The smooth tool works. The next, you can, like I said, remember, there are always different options about this tool. When you see this small little arrow at the right bottom of the tool, so if you click and drag down, you have sharpen, you have blur, as well as you do have the smudge tool. Okay, so the next one is the dodge tool. So click and slide down. We have the dodge tool, we have the burn tool, we have the sponge tool. Just like the name implies, sponge, which means you can use it to wash a surface. And the burn tool, you can use it to burn a surface, make the surface dark, while the dodge tool will make the surface light as you rub over it. But let's see if we can do something really little crazy about this. by using the brush tool. Create a new layer, and then let's try to do something funny here. Select a different color, click OK, and let's try to do something really funny. Okay, so let's back to the dodge tool, clean over it, and then okay, let's really see this effect by increasing the exposure to 100, and then you can see, whoa, it lightens up that area. So this is how the dodge tool works. Okay, let's go to burn tool and see what happens. Round it. Whoa, it darkens the area in which you rub the burn tool on. It darkens it. So the next tool is pen tool. Like the name implies, it makes and changes path or shape with an anchor point and handles. Let's go ahead and use this tool to see how it works. So click on pen tool and draw. You can even make a curve. You can make a curve and then make a curve. Clicking, and make a very crazy shape. Anyway, this is all cool, but well, it's just for the explanation of how the pen tool works. So imagine that you can actually use the pen tool to draw. Just try to do something interesting manually, and let's see how this will go. Whoa, the shape looks actually funny. I was trying to do some kind of very funny pot, but all the same, the option you have here over here for shape, and you could also use this for path. Path will not draw any shape for you, rather it creates a line that you can actually right click and make selection over that, click OK, and you have the same effect for polygon tool, but this time you can use the pen tool to create curves, but you cannot use the polygonal lasso tool to create curves. So let's deselect by Command D or Control D on your keyboard. Go back to path, and I'm going to jump the text tool and then skip over to select tool. Select tool, click on the shape. Wow, and you see it brings out all the anchor points the pen tool created. So with select tool, I can move over to each anchor and edit. This is time to fine-tune my shape. I'm fine-tuning it this time. Give it a better shape. You see, because I'm having something better, I can just tweak it this way and then bring it back. So this is how select tool works. So let's go back to the tool I skipped, which is the text tool. Click on text tool. You can click on your canvas and type something, text. Click on commit and click on move tool to move this text around. Click and move this. Hit delete on your keyboard so we get rid of it. This is text tool. And how do we change color? We have all the options for text under text property. In case you don't have text property display, or you have the character, text property in character, feel free to move up to Windows and select it, and you would have it appear right here. So from text options or character options, you can select color, and the text color changes as you select any color of your choice. Click OK to commit that. The next tool is the hand tool. Hand tool is used to move select hand tool. Okay, I'm going to skip to zoom tool, click on the plus. Down, let's go back to hand tool, and you can see we can move the canvas around the screen using the hand tool. Now the next one is zoom. Of course, I experimented this. It's used to zoom, magnify, or reduce the view of an image. So let's click on that, zoom in, and click on go to, remember I told you you'll always have options for any tool you select. So click on minus, come back, and you are zooming out. Okay, so this is a set background color. You can click on the set background and foreground color to pick colors of your choice. Click OK. Anytime you commit or draw a shape, it snaps to your foreground color. The next tool is edit in quick mask. Edit in quick mask. The selected layer turns red over here, which means that in this mode you are not in the normal mode anymore, you are in a mask mode. So I think I might have to do a little explanation on the mask. Mask is a hidden identity. You have something, you have this mask you wear on your face, and it covers your original face. It gives you somewhat a kind of look, but the original thing is right behind. It's right behind the mask in front. So this is what it does also in Photoshop. It covers the original, and you're acting on some other kind of and some other kind of object. For instance, let's pick the brush tool. Let's go to brush tool and then draw over it and click to move out of mask mode. Woo! You see what happens? It selects the area that had the brush tool been smudged on your canvas. So this is how mask mode works. And of course you can change your screen mode. Click on the screen mode. It changes your screen mode. Click on it again, and it's asking, oh, Adobe, okay, in full screen mode, panels are hidden. Okay, I like that. Full screen mode. Ooh, so how do you get out of here? Press escape on your keyboard, and you are back to the standard mode. Okay, before I leave off, let me do a quick fix right here for you. Command D to deselect that, and then click on the move tool. Well, let's go over to files, and I showed you how to create a new file. Open a document, browse in Bridge in case you want to bring an image to your Photoshop. Open a smart object and open recent. You can close Photoshop. So go through the rest of import. You can even import video frames. You can check up your file info. So for instance, maybe you create a graphics and then you want to write in some metadata to your graphics so that someone really does not steal your graphics. And with file info, click on, for instance, let's just go there. Like on file info, you can write your name, you can give it description, you can rate, you can write in keywords and fill all of camera data, and then click OK. Now when you do this, it goes beyond you creating an identity for your file, which means that when you check the property of those files, all of those information will be included. And of course, you know that you can't just clean up property for an image just like that. Number one advantage. Number two, when you use that image on the internet, it helps Google to quickly index that file. So in case you have copyright imputed to the file and then some other person comes to use it, it's very ABC for you, because Google Index will identify that file to its owner following the metadata that was written into it. Okay, so this is edit options. You have the undo, copy, check spelling, find. We have images. You can change the mode. You can adjust, make adjustments. If you have an image here, layer has to do with options that relates to everything you have right here. Type is for text. Make adjustments for your text. Replace all missing fonts and do all sort of things with your text. And select has to do with you taking up an action still on your layer. You want to move it, you want to invert it, this you want to select a mask, all of that here. Then for filter, this is where you have for the Photoshop magics. Photoshop magics happens right here, where you can blur an image, create noise, distort it, and sharpen it, make the image very clean, and then do all sort of stuff from here. If you are using a system that supports a graphic card, then that will be fantastic to use a 3D options. Photoshop actually provides you with an option to work from a 3D environment, but that depends on the graphic card your system or your laptop or computer uses. Click on view to zoom in, zoom out, and go to fit your screen to 100%, fit it into 200%. And then for Windows, you can use this option to arrange how you want your display on Photoshop. You can use it for Workspace. Right now I'm using Essentials. Let's say maybe you mess things up by unknowingly. Let me just drag this guy here and woof, and what did I do? How do I get all this stuff back? Probably by mistake. So it's simple. Go back to Windows, Workspace, and click on Reset Essentials, and everything goes back to normal for you. You can close any tab you don't wish to use. You can close group, or you can close just a single tab. You can, on mouse over, you have this arrow, click on it and then drag up to close up that space. You can even close it by selecting close. Click the menu icon and then click on close. So Windows, go back to Windows. You can select colors and it comes back. Windows, select whatever option you need back, paragraph, and it comes character, and it comes back to your working environment. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. So check you up in the next lesson where you begin to go a little deep into Photoshop. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next lesson. It's so good you made it to the end of today's lesson on how to navigate around Photoshop tools. If you have not subscribed, please do well to hit the notification button, subscribe, so you can have notifications on my videos. So thank you for watching. See you.